You know, it's funny, we were at a media timeout, and Rupp went crazy. And I'm looking around wondering what the heck's going on. And one of my assistant coaches said they just put the big fella in. So the Kentucky fans were excited to see him play, obviously, and he played really well. He's a high-level talent that complements them moving forward, I think, helps them become one of the best offensive teams in the country. They already were, but even better.
Did you have any inclination that he might or could or possibly?
Yeah, that day.
And did you have any tape on him, any scouting report, kind of thing?
We found some quickly. We've got a big staff, and yeah, so we watched some in the pregame and showed our guys for the first time. And this kid might play, might not. I'm sure he'll be rusty. Don't know how many minutes he'll play. We were honest with our guys. We're always honest with our guys, with scouting reports. And really skilled. Who knows how much they'll utilize him offensively. He gets in the game, and wow, just made an immediate impact from three, and with his passing ability, altering shots at the rim. He's a talent.
You guys haven't had too many losses this season, but how do your guys kind of digest it and move on?
I think our in-game response kind of speaks for itself, as it did in Tallahassee, and obviously we lose the game, and it was ugly there for a little bit. Not that we didn't compete. I thought we competed at a really high level, finished really strong, but that in-game response, I think, is correct. As you look at the big picture with our team, it's appropriate because we've responded after every loss the right way. Had a really good practice yesterday. Anticipate another one today.
Do the metrics take care of themselves? I mean, I know we're watching this bracketology, and I know
Right.
you're focused on the game, but you keep knocking out the wins at home and stealing a few on the road. You feel pretty confident that'll give you the resume you need.
Yeah, I'm more confident that if you're focused on having a good practice today, you'll play better tomorrow and give yourself a chance to be in a good position against a really good LSU team. Yeah, if you win enough, good things will happen, but it's a waste of time for us to talk about it. That's why we try to have those conversations on the front end, get them out of the way. Let's focus on how the heck we keep Jordan Wright off the foul line, and how do we guard big fella in the post, and Cook is tremendous at creating his own shots. And this is a team that's 3-2 in our league, so we've got to have a great practice today. That's where we're at.
Speaking of tomorrow, as we touched on it a little bit, but what challenges do they bring?
Oh, they execute. They space you. They drive you. I mean, I think they're led by those two guards, Cook and Wright. Wright's one of the most improved players in our league. Cook, the transfer from Tulane, was recently eligible, and made them different. Credit in my opinion, their staff in terms of they're playing a lot different now. With him eligible, especially offensively compared to how they were playing early in the season. So they've adapted a little bit, and they're playing really, really well. Could easily be sitting here with 4 wins, and this team is top 50 defense and a very dangerous offensive team as well.
Jabri has been steady in his progress, but it seems exponential, the improvements he's made this year.
Scored 34 in Rupp.
Yeah.
My goodness. He's come a long way.
Yeah.
He's worked his butt off. So happy for him.
Is that what do you owe it mainly? Coaching, right? Clearly.
His work ethic. He's a gym rat. He's so consistent with his work ethic. He's growing as a leader, he has become, not becoming, and now I should probably change my terminology when talking about him. He's become a leader. He's become consistent. He's learned how to overcome a couple missed shots where he can move on to the next play, hang his hat on the next split second of the game, which could be a transition defense, it could be going to the offensive glass, what have you. And he's playing with a really high level of confidence. But no one that I've coached has been in the gym more individually than he's been in the past couple of years. Consistently, when you hear a ball bouncing and you walk by the gym and you stick your head in the door, somebody might be in there with him, but he's in there.
You've been in Rupp a ton of times. How many? When you say that it's a big deal to score 34 points in the Rupp Arena.
Yeah,
play a
huge.
lot. Why is that? Explain why that is.
Oh, you're talking about one of the winningest programs in the history of our game, right? And one of the toughest places to play, 20-something thousand fans. By the way, it was the loudest I've ever heard it in there, you know, with Z coming in the game and hitting a couple of those shots. It's always loud in there, but that was electric. And for Jabri to put on the offensive performance that he did was great for him. It made it more respectable for us, of course. We kept swinging. It shows you his character and his development, and hopefully it's something that he can continue to build on.
How are you seeing the rest of his teammates kind of feed off him a little bit now?
They love him. He's a likable guy. And when he's having success, his teammates enjoy that. And I thought our guards did a good job of finding him when he was open. And a few of those shots he made off of screens, I thought our bigs, we're getting better at screening and using screens. And as we continue to kind of morph offensively into our best version here.
And you mentioned Russell, too, did a really good job of screening some of the guards, getting easy layups.
There you go. And those weren't necessarily for Jabri, but Russell got, I believe he held nine. I think he had 9 seals, 9 seals for layups. So those don't show up for points for him in the box score, but arguably his best offensive game. Just getting Justin and Silas open looks at the rim.
Mike, you got players now that people know their name. People are talking about NCAA tournament. I know it's your job to keep it day to day and the steady plod, but there's an energy outside this program that Georgia basketball hasn't had in a long, long time. When did you know that this group of guys you assembled might be able to put together something special like we've seen so far this year?
Yeah, we were hopeful. We were hopeful last summer that that this team. That's why we amped up our schedule a little bit, late spring, early summer. Try to give us opportunities. The numbers aren't quite what we thought they would be. That said, though, we were able to beat some high major teams. When we went on the 10-game streak, it started hitting home a little bit that, hey, these guys are super consistent. The way that our guys responded to some of those early losses, the way we responded in Tallahassee in game, showed the resiliency, the competitiveness of this group. I don't know where this group ends up here, in the final stretches of this season. We got a ways to go, but I do know this group, they compete consistently. They like to work. Be shocked if we don't have a sharp practice today. We've got a healthy locker room.
And you really like them. I mean, I can tell you
really
like these guys.
Yeah, I like working with these guys.
This is your kind of team.
Excited about going to practice today. We had a great practice yesterday. Coming off of a game we were down 28 at one point, right? And there's no sulking. Guys are just getting after it yesterday, and they understand. They believe in the process and just getting better. But Georgia's got a strong history. We're just trying to rebuild it, and there's no reason that we can't be successful here.
Was there a time this offseason or early this season that you thought Jabri could take his game to this level?
He had a really good summer, really good fall. Probably over the course of a few months there. Not necessarily. There wasn't just one moment where we said, "Boy, Jabri's just a totally different guy," because he kind of had some ups and downs a little bit. Late summer, early fall, and we had a lot of competition in practice. And then he probably, I would say, mid-December, we look around at each other as a staff and say, he's about 3-4 straight weeks of just really good days. And confidence rising, and had a couple big games, and then boom, boom, boom. He's just getting better and better.
And Coach, you mentioned rebuilding before. Thinking about the broadened term of this season so far, what have been some of the changes that you have been trying to implement with this team to get to where you are today?
We don't talk a ton about the past, of course, but there have been some really good players here and some really good coaches and some big-time seasons, and there's no excuse for us not to get it going, and we like our roster. And daily, we just talk about getting better, enjoying the process and growth on and off the court. And again, I really like our culture. We've got good players who continue to get better. It's that simple. I mean, for us, again, it's about LSU right now. The bigger picture stuff, I'm sure we'll address more when the ball stops bouncing for this team, this spring.
You're talking about the Rupp atmosphere. That was as loud as I can ever remember. I can't remember if it was after Demery's dunk or Blues 3 toward the end of the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
You've obviously implemented those changes. I don't know the genesis of them all, but
I just suggested it. I really did. Credit goes to to Jerry and Josh and his administration for being open to it and
Yeah.
making it happen. And also for the openness to, some of our fans had to move seats, you know.
Yeah.
And not everyone was super excited on the front end. Hopefully as we build this thing, right, and we do our part, that one day all of our fans will look back and say, well, that was a good decision, and I'm excited about it regardless of where I used to sit and where I'm sitting now.
Yeah.
We're just appreciative to their consideration, because I'm with you. That's the loudest. I just said that about Rupp. That's the loudest I've heard the Steg when we had Tennessee on the ropes the other day, and we certainly hope it's that loud tomorrow night.
And Coach, how would you describe that fan base helping your team out to play as good as they have?
Well, it's huge. You know, we've got a proud fan base, a hungry fan base. We've redone some things in Steg. Our administration's been great. It's super loud in there, and it just puts us on par. I mean, wherever you go in this league, it's crazy now. The fan bases are crazy. They're proud. The arenas are beautiful. The facilities are great, right? And it just puts us on par. Steg, if we want Georgia basketball to get going, the Steg better be rocking. It gives us a chance. It puts us in the game.
Other questions for Mike?
Just real quick about R.J. Melendez, the energy he's bringing off the bench right
Yeah.
now.
He's an energy guy. You know, he's when we tip it in our first competitive drill today, he's going to be competing his butt off. That's who he is. He's had some good games for us, and I think that he's got a high ceiling, and he's got a chance potentially to, probably as much as anyone on our team, to finish strong, you know, to maybe impact as much or more than he's impacting right now. He's a good player.